Hey Falcons fans, there's been a lot going on in Atlanta that we need to discuss, so without further ado, be sure to hit that like button and let's get to the news. Everything changed on August 9th. What was supposed to be the first glimpse of a promising rookie season for Bralin Trice turned into a nightmare. The Atlanta Falcons' third-round pick out of Washington had been earning reps on both the first and second defensive units during OTAs and training camp. Coaches were excited. He wasn't just another rookie, he was pushing for real snaps in a position group that desperately needed firepower. But then came the preseason opener against the Miami Dolphins. One awkward movement, one high-pitched cry of pain, and Trice was on the ground. Rolling on the turf, coaches ran, fans held their breath, and just like that, the vision of a reinvigorated pass rush took a brutal hit. And Falcons fans? They were left with more questions than answers. Just 2 days later, it was confirmed, a torn ACL. Trice's season was over before it even began. But the dominoes didn't stop there. In a move that felt like a panic pivot, the Falcons sent a 2025 third-round draft pick to New England from Matthew Judon, a four-time Pro Bowler who was supposed to stabilize the league. Except he didn't. Despite playing in all 17 games, Judon finished the season with just 5.5 sacks. A far cry from his usual output. It left fans wondering, was Trice's injury the moment when everything started to unravel? Coach Raheem Morris later admitted that it was. Speaking candidly at the NFL owners' meetings in Palm Beach, he called Trice's injury a turning point. A moment that forced the team to rethink its entire strategy. That was one of the moments that really made us make different decisions and go different ways, Morris said. And the disappointment was evident. Morris had high expectations for Trice, even comparing the rookie's potential to Judon's. That's not a superficial comparison. It's a statement. One that has fans wondering just how much Trice could have done if he'd been given the chance. And here's where the story gets interesting. Despite never playing a regular season snap in 2024, the Falcons are still banking on Trice. That's right. This offseason, Raheem Morris has made no secret of his faith in what the 24-year-old can bring. We're really confident in what Trice was doing, he said, referring to the preseason and OTA work before the injury. We were really excited to see him and get him on the field in the regular season. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to see that. Now, think about this, Atlanta's pass rush in 2024 was near the bottom of the league. They finished second to last in sacks with just 31, and a staggering 21 of those came in a late-season surge. Imagine if Trice had been part of that equation all year. Could that number have been higher? Could the season have looked different? Sure, it's unfair to put it all on a rookie. Trice had 7 sacks, 11.5 tackles for loss, and 53 pressures in his final year at Washington. That's production. But transitioning to the NFL is tough. Expectations need to be tempered. Still, when the Falcons look at the tape, the flashes he showed in training camp, the energy, the motor, it's hard not to feel like they missed out on something special. And they're not alone in that feeling. The rest of Atlanta's rookie defensive line class didn't help ease the sting either. Second-rounder Rook Orhorhoro battled injuries and only logged 11 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 QB hit in 8 games. Fourth-rounder Brandon Dorlus barely saw the field, playing in just 2 games and tallying 3 tackles. It was a developmental year for the entire group, one that left more questions than it answered. But Morris is standing firm. I really got confidence in all those guys, he said. You make your biggest jumps in your second year, and I'm really looking forward to that. For the fans, it's a cautious optimism. We've heard this kind of messaging before. But this time, something feels different. Maybe it's the fact that Trice isn't just rehabbing, he's building. He married his longtime girlfriend Ariana, herself a former Washington athlete, in March. It's a fresh chapter off the field, and one that speaks to the stability and maturity he's bringing into 2025. He'll be back with the team when off-season programs begin April 22nd, and according to Morris, Trice is one of the names they're counting on most. He's not alone either. Atlanta has brought in reinforcements. Veteran Leonard Floyd joins the pass rush, and safety Jordan Fuller replaces Justin Simmons. Divine Deablo arrives at linebacker. It's a retooling effort, but through it all, Morris keeps pointing back to the second-year class. That's where the hidden strength lies. And at the heart of that group? Bralin Trice. So now the question becomes, what happens if he delivers? If Trice becomes the player they envisioned before the injury, if he plays even close to the level they hoped Juden would bring, it could change the complexion of Atlanta's defense completely. Not just for this season, but for the future. But let me throw it back to you, Falcons Nation. Do you believe Bralon Trice can bounce back and become the difference maker this defense needs? Or do you think the front office needs to keep hunting for more proven pass rushers? Drop a comment. And while the return of Bralon Trice is a major storyline for the Falcons' 2025 campaign, it might just be one piece of a much bigger puzzle forming behind the scenes. A potential blockbuster trade that could completely reshape Atlanta's defense overnight. Here's where things take a dramatic turn. In Pittsburgh, tensions are rising between the Steelers and their star edge rusher T.J. Watt. The 2021 Defensive Player of the Year is entering the final year of the record-breaking contract he signed 3 seasons ago. At the time, Watt became the highest-paid defensive player in the league. Fast forward to now, and his $28 million annual salary has slipped to 9th among defenders. For a player of Watt's caliber, a perennial All-Pro, sack leader, and game wrecker, that's not sitting well. Watt hasn't said much publicly. But social media? That's where the smoke is rising. A cryptic Instagram post from Watt sparked a wave of speculation, and soon, whispers around the league began to surface. Are contract negotiations between Watt and the Steelers heading south? NFL insider Ian Rappaport couldn't confirm any direct intel, but he wasn't shy about reading between the lines. I think we can safely say that contract negotiations between T.J. Watt and the Steelers are not off to a rip-roaring start, he said. And when Rappaport starts talking like that, people listen. Atlanta tried to make a move for Myles Garrett earlier this offseason but came up short. Now, with Watt possibly available, the opportunity is back, and maybe even bigger. Just imagine T.J. Watt in a Falcons uniform. It's not fantasy. It's a real possibility if the front office is willing to act aggressively. Watt may be 30, but he's still one of the most dominant edge players in the NFL. In what was considered a down year for him in 2024, he still posted 11.5 sacks and led the league with 6 forced fumbles. That production would have shattered any recent pass rush standard in Atlanta. Here's the kicker. Some have even speculated whether Kirk Cousins could be involved in a deal. The Steelers were loosely tied to Cousins earlier this offseason. Could a quarterback-needy team in win-now limbo see him as a short-term answer? Could the Falcons flip Cousins, add picks, and land Watt? That kind of deal would be complicated. And costly. Atlanta would need to part with multiple first-round picks, and Cousins might be viewed as a throw-in rather than a centerpiece. But the cap math could work starting next year, when the Falcons will have more financial flexibility. It's not easy. But it's possible. Either way, one thing is clear, the Falcons are not sitting still. And if they make a move for Watt, this could be the most aggressive defensive rebuild in franchise history. So here's the big question, Falcons fans, would you trade future first-round picks to land T.J. Watt right now? Drop your take in the comments, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We're just getting started. Go Falcons!